Batter my heart, three-person God, for you as yet but knock, breathe, shine, and seek to mend, that I may rise and stand, overthrow me and bend. Your force to break, blow, burn, and make me new, I like an unserved town to another do. Labor to admit you, but owe to no end, reason your viscery in me should defend. But as captive and proves weak or untrue, yet dearly I love you, and would be loved fain. But I am betrothed unto your enemy, divorce me, untie or break that night again. Take me to you, imprison me, for I, except you enthrall me, never shall be free, nor ever chaste, except you ravish me. The speaker asks God to intensify the effort to restore the speaker's soul. Knocking at the door is not enough. God should overthrow him like a besieged town. His own reason has not been enough either, and he has engaged himself to God's enemy. He asks God to break the knots holding him back, imprisoning him in order to free him, and taking him by force in order to purify him. In his holy sonnets, Donne blends elements of the Italian Petrarchan sonnet with the English Shakespearean sonnet. Here he begins in the Italian form A-B-B-A, A-B-B-A, but his concluding idea in the third quadrant bleeds over into the rhyming couplet C-D-C-D-C-C that completes the poem. The poet begins by asking God to increase the strength of divine force to win over the poet's soul. He requests, "Batter my heart," in line 1, metaphorically indicating that he wants God to use force to assault his heart, like battering down a door. Thus far, God has only knocked, following the scriptural idea that God knocks and each person must let him in. Yet this has not worked sufficiently for the poet. Simply to mend or shine him up is not drastic enough. Instead, God should take him by the force to break, blow, burn, in order to help him stand and be made new. Lines 3-4. This request indicates that the speaker considers his soul or heart too badly damaged or too sinful to be repairable. Instead, God must recreate him to make him what he needs to be. The paradox is that he must be overthrown like a tower in order to rise. The second quadrant begins with that metaphor, with the speaker now an usurped town that owes its allegiance or due to someone else. Line 5. He is frustrated that his reason, God's viscery in the town of his soul, is captive to other forces and is failing to persuade him to leave his sins behind. The poet then moves from the political to the personal in the last 6 lines. He loves God, but he is betrothed unto God's enemy, line 9, the satanic desires of the selfish heart. He seeks God's help to achieve the divorce from his sinful nature and break the marriage knot, lines 10-11. And the final couplet, he gives voice to the paradox of faith. The speaker can only be free if he is enthralled by God, line 13, and he can only be chaste and pure if God ravishes him, line 14. The poet uses his dissonance of ideas to point out just how holy God truly is. In other words, a relationship with God requires being reborn and rebuilt from the ground up, in but not of the world.